From Dumbo Revisited to a big birthday for the Eiffel Tower, welcome to Encore. First, does Tim Burton's Disney remake of Dumbo fly high or fall flat with an elephantine thud? The iconic filmmaker has made the classic into a live-action movie with Michael Keaton, Colin Farrell, Danny DeVito and Eva Green. Vincent Roux met Dumbo and his partners at the Paris premiere.
Nearly 80 years ago, Dumbo looked like that. Now he looks like this.
Alas, Dumbo couldn't make the flight to Paris, but his ringmaster, Tim Burton, and his flying partner, Eva Green, have come to meet their fans.
Tim Burton surtout, enfin, j'aime.
Surtout que c'est un des rares réalisateurs qui a un vrai univers très gothique, très créatif.
Je suis là depuis 10h30 du matin et je suis un peu impatiente aussi, j'ai un peu froid.
And what about Dumbo?
Dumbo, well, Dumbo is linked to my childhood somehow, with the train and with the elephant flying. It's all magic. I mean, it's very much linked to very happy memories in my mind, so I'm very excited.
C'est un film que j'ai détesté étant petit parce qu'il m'a fait très peur. Comme Alice au Pays des Merveilles, j'ai réussi à l'apprécier avec Tim Burton. Donc là, j'espère que ça fera la même chose.
Dumbo is a classic Disney. It's one of the most beloved. What was the biggest challenge for you?
I think the reason that made Dumbo easier for me to make is that you couldn't remake it. You know, it has a beautiful theme to it. It's got beautiful images, it's a beautiful movie. It's just, it's of a different time. You know, there's different things that you wouldn't do there. So I just tried to take the spirit of it and just make it into a live-action film.
Because it seems like a very mainstream story for a Tim Burton movie.
Well, it's about a weirdo that doesn't fit in. That seems pretty normal to me.
From a 64-minute cartoon to a live-action movie, Tim Burton had to create a bunch of new characters. Colette Marchand is one of them, a French acrobat who learns to ride a flying elephant. She's played by Eva Green. This is the third time you've worked with Tim Burton, so what's he like?
Horrible. No, I'm just kidding. It's always great to work with him because he's such a kind, sensitive and humble man. And he's a genius. A great mind, really, very poetic. So nice.
You actually performed on a trapeze. How was that?
Well, I kind of freaked out when I was told I had to do some stunts. But I trained with circus acrobats for 10 weeks, and I managed to take off. I'm actually very proud of myself.
Bravo.
And after Dumbo, Disney is hoping for similar success with the release of The Lion King and Aladdin later this year.
Well, I think it's something that Disney has been doing very successfully, and they realize that there is, generations of people that have grown up on Disney films, and they mean something very special to everyone. And they've proven to be a really popular thing, in the box office, and people are enjoying those films. For Tim, it really wasn't about, what is going to be a success or what may draw the most people in. For him, Dumbo was one of his favorite animated films as a child, and his history with Disney, starting there as an animator, it just seemed like a perfect choice for him to be brought in and make the movie, and I think the result is a proof of that.
You can do it, Dumbo. Show him. Fly, Dumbo. Fly. Baby of mine.
filmmaker Tim Burton is known for his unique visual brilliance. In his book, The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories, he created a cast of children, misunderstood outcasts struggling to find love and belonging. Robot Boy's parents hate him because he's a reminder of his mum's affair with a blender, while Anchor Boy is conceived to save a relationship. Some of these poems have been adapted for the stage here in France. Kathy Clifford reports.
A dark and poetic world, right out of one of Tim Burton's tales for children. On stage, 4 dancers take their turn at a solo, each dreamt up by a different choreographer. Each one a meditation on loneliness and marginality.
Everyone can identify with this notion of difference. We have chosen the tales according to our experiences. I chose Staring Girl because staring is very common in Italy, and so getting looks like this had quite an effect on me when I was a child.
The dance solos drift between hip-hop, theatrical and contemporary dance. Choreographer Emilio Calcagno chose to integrate a live video filmed through a mobile phone attached to one of the dancers.
It's a little girl who does nothing but stare. Emilio decided to work on this project using all technology linked to mobile phones, like Facebook, Instagram, which are a constant observation of others, of other people's lives, and showing a version of oneself that isn't necessarily real.
The idea behind the show, that any spectator can glimpse a part of themselves in these characters, particularly children.
The energy given off by the dancers shows this desire to keep going, despite their difference. There's a boy dressed as a superhero. We can see that he has trouble balancing in the beginning. Then he starts to get confident and tries to fly. To begin with, the children's reaction was to laugh, and then they were absorbed in the dancer's momentum.
In Tim Burton's tales, children are alone, rejected and misunderstood. Here, captured in movement, the moment difference is accepted and solitude abandoned.
Next, it's probably the most iconic landmark on the planet. When it was built in 1889, the Eiffel Tower was the world's tallest structure. At 324 metres and more than 1,600 steps, the Iron Lady welcomes millions of visitors every year. This weekend, the famous Parisian monument is celebrating its 130th birthday. Selina Sykes reports.
The star attraction of the French capital. The Eiffel Tower never fails to mesmerise.
It's magnificent. It dominates the skyline. I'm speechless.
A dream? Incredible Eiffel Tower. I love Paris.
130 years old and not a single wrinkle. The Iron Lady is a beloved part of the Parisian skyline. So why and how was it built? 1887. Paris is getting ready to host the World's Fair. A competition is launched to find a design for a tower to be built in the French capital's Champ de Mars. The only guideline, the landmark must be the tallest in the world, prompting some rather unusual entries. Civil engineer Gustave Eiffel wins the contract. He has just over 2 years to complete his ambitious project. It takes 5 months to build the tower's concrete foundations on the banks of the Seine. 18,000 iron pieces are made in Eiffel's factory on the outskirts of Paris, which are then put together to form larger pieces before being assembled on the construction site.
Precision is key. The holes for the rivets have to be traced out to 1/10 of a millimetre. It's an achievement of precision, calculation, drawing, tracing and construction. The Eiffel Company was very good at that.
Little by little, the Eiffel Tower's frame takes shape. Construction of the second floor begins. A job that's not for the faint-hearted. Workers spend 10 hours a day on wooden scaffolding, with no safety harnesses or helmets. Everything is going to plan. But 3 months before the deadline, a spanner is thrown in the works when the construction workers go on strike.
Eiffel gave an ultimatum. Those who didn't want to go back to work the following day would never go up the tower again. And those who came back to work would get a bonus. Virtually 99% of workers went back to work.
Completed in record time, the Eiffel Tower is inaugurated on the 31st of March 1889 and becomes the symbol of France and its capital, recognised across the world.
So happy birthday to the Eiffel Tower. Now, just before we go, the courtyard around the Louvre Museum's famed glass pyramid is becoming the stage for a giant interactive performance by the French visual artist JR for its 30th anniversary. The pyramid, designed by I.M. Pei, who's now 101, was seen as controversial when it opened in 1989. It's since become a beloved Parisian landmark, and we're going to leave you with preparations for the performance. Remember our website, we're also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.